Hey, what's going on, guys? The Horror Man back with the next review of the Terror in the Isles challenge. This time, Jason and I watched Eyes of Laura Mars. I'm completely out of control. Eyes of Laura Mars is a 1978 horror film, directed by Irvin Kershner. He also directed Never Say Never Again, RoboCop 2, and The Empire Strikes Back. The screenplay of the movie was co-written by John Carpenter. There's a pretty memorable scene from Eyes of Laura Mars featured in Terror in the Isles. It's another one people ask about online quite a bit. For some reason, a lot of people have a tough time recognizing this movie based on that scene. I guess in that way it's underrated, or at least somewhat obscure. The movie stars Faye Dunaway as title character Laura Mars. She's a famous fashion photographer. In her work, she specializes in sex and death. She definitely knows a thing or two about the latter, because she constantly has visions of people she knows being murdered. She sees it happening through the eyes of the killer, as whoever it is uses an ice pick on the victims. They are stabbed right in their eyes. The visions come as nightmares, whether Laura is asleep or awake. Her photographs bear a striking resemblance to some unsolved murder cases. Cases that are confidential, and of which photographic evidence has been classified. In other words, the only way Laura has been able to see the actual crime scenes has been through the eyes of the killer. As more victims, all associated with Laura's work, fall prey to the killer, she fears for her own life. She shares what information she has with the police, but obviously it's not an easy story to believe. Lieutenant John Neville, though, played by Tommy Lee Jones, takes her word for it. He takes the lead on the case as the body count rises. He also acts as Laura's own personal bodyguard, and soon enough, the two fall in love and begin carrying on a romantic and sexual relationship. Meanwhile, Laura's ex-husband Michael, played by the late Raul Julia, has conveniently returned to town. His new girlfriend is one of the victims. Laura also learns that her driver Tommy, played by Brad Dourif, has a past criminal record. Of course, all of this is concerning to John. But who is the killer sharing vision with Laura? And will she be the next intended victim? The story unfolds through the eyes of Laura Mars. This movie has a great late 70s vibe to it, and it does feel like a Carpenter film in a way. Like I said, he did co-write the screenplay, but he was a little busy directing another horror film that was released in 1978. I like the concept of Laura being able to see through the killer's eyes. Tommy Lee Jones is great in this as John Neville, and he's so young. Brad Dourif is perfect as always as Tommy, and I love his accent in this. The film was set and filmed on location in New York. There are some great city shots and some really good seasonal scenery on the outskirts. It was literally, like the movie, autumn in New York. The kills are pretty vicious with the ice pick, and there's plenty of nudity throughout. After all, Laura focuses on sex and death. Eyes of Laura Mars doesn't have the fastest pace, but it's really not boring at all. Is this another movie that could have been cut down a bit? Sure, it has an approximate runtime of an hour and 44 minutes. Even still, it's engaging and entertaining. My favorite thing about the movie is probably the climax. I love the reveal. And my relatable recommendation is Dark Sister. Dark Sister is a 2014 horror film, and I reviewed this one during Wild Eye Week last year. The storylines in both movies are somewhat similar. In Dark Sister, a young woman paints the visions she sees, both in her nightmares and while awake. The paintings depict death as she witnesses through the eyes of a murderer. For some reason, she has the ability to see through the eyes of the killer as the acts are committed. Dark Sister really goes off the rails, though, in a good way. It's awesome. I highly recommend this one from Wild Eye Releasing. Have you seen Eyes of Laura Mars? If so, what do you think of it? Comment below and let me know. And please be sure to check out Jason's review. We're completely out of control. There are only 10 movies left in the Terror in the Isles challenge, and the next review is coming soon. Until then, thanks for watching, guys. Hit that thumbs up and be kind. Subscribe.